It's like a space station. You know, we got the Artemis or whatever. It's about to launch to the moon. I got to do all the, you know,
the Enterprise.
People.
Houston, we have a problem.
Am I wrong? Was there not just some like attempt to go to the moon that got? I saw the way it was framed was the launch was canceled, and I'm not the first person to make this joke, but a bunch of people were like, "Oh no, what did it tweet?"
I was thinking, who did it touch? But
that works
probably
too.
More accurate.
Was it? I'm not making this up though. That was a thing going to the moon, right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys know anything about this?
Stanley Kubrick.
Sorry.
Stanley Kubrick did that.
Jay Leno now, but it's like a real question. You hear about this? You hear about this launch to the moon?
I didn't hear about shit.
Courtney didn't. Courtney's our news person.
You hear about the U.S. Challenger? You hear how that blew up? That's crazy. Anyone else hear that?
Wow, Jay.
Yeah, like an insecure Jay Leno who is desperate for a response. No, seriously.
Like, anybody?
This?
Funny?
You know about this?
Anybody? Is this funny? Somebody laugh at this?
Mom?
Mom? Aunt Karen? You told me I was funny. Come on, laugh at my shit.
Poor Jay.
All right. Well, this is the big schmooze, everybody. Welcome. I meant to do a little more of an intro, but I thought let's just talk about the launch to the moon. We got our usuals here, and this has been a difficult show to put together. I think we're cursed or hexed. Will, I know you got a problem with gypsies. You've run into a lot of them in your European trips. I think you may have run over the wrong one this time.
Well, you know, the 2 or 3 auto accidents.
I know they're like squirrels over there in like France, but you know, come on.
Well, you see, it's really the problem of the governments and the police because they don't prosecute for gypsy crimes. And that's a whole problem that, you know, Europe needs to deal with. Some racism over there that they need to perhaps confront.
Well, but okay, the gypsies strike back through these hexes, these curses, right? Or is that just a thing that happens in horror movies?
I mean,
you tell me.
It could happen.
You're an expert. I mean, Will Forget.
I'm not the gypsy expert. I'm not the foremost expert on gypsy curses. That's unquestionably not true.
Tonight's special is gypsy curses. We have Dr. Bingus McGack here to tell us the story.
We're gonna do a little incantation, a bit of a seance. We're gonna bring up some old gypsies from the past life. Gonna have them help out our audience. Send us what you need in the chat, folks, and we'll see if the ghosts of the ancient gypsies can help you out.
Yes. All right. Well, so my point though was we wanted to do this for a while, and then there was like a death in the family the first time we tried to schedule this. Then the next time I didn't get COVID, but I got one of these just kind of embarrassing colds. You know how like you sound a little congested and it's just it's this shame that you have.
It's a soft cough with that cold.
It's a Zoolander black lung sort of situation.
Black lung.
Yeah. Then you had a migraine, Will, on Monday when we were going to do this. And then Courtney's laptop broke. So what, Courtney, how's your laptop situation? Any update?
So the laptop is working swimmingly. It's the gosh dang charger that toasted on me. So, and they get you good with the charger. I have a similar Energy Connect that would in theory work and give my computer a little battery life. But
sorry to jump in, but is that alternative energy crystal based? You know, is it sort of a quartz crystal that you're using as a charging station?
Ton of jade piled up in a bowl.
I love
right
jade.
Next to my laptop. Doesn't work. Terrible for battery life.
But it is cool for decorative purposes.
I remember a year ago, I told Courtney, no, don't invest in that mine that's, you know, harvesting all these, you know, these gems. And it turns out that was really
I'll show you.
Yeah.
That was pretty bad advice. Yeah. Don't invest in a gold mine or gem mine.
Yeah. I don't think that's look, Courtney, what you really need is crypto mine, not the real mine. That's what I told her. And look who's laughing
Wait.
now. It's not me.
I told her mining IRL, mining in real life is not what anyone does anymore. It's all internet based. So you're going to do some crypto mining, you'll hit it big, but you go digging in the earth in Alaska, you're not going to dig up jack.
Yeah. Gold's worthless. Gold NFTs. That's where it's at.
Or gold dust, apparently. I'm watching some of those panning shows, where they send out the people that live in Alaska to just
all the old
not get eaten.
prospectors.
Yeah, just sort of
like
dodge bears and see where you can dig up some dirt, find some specks of gold, and it's literal specks. I'm talking like sand dust, like powdered sugar specks of.
I watched
gold
like
dust.
10 minutes of that, one of those shows. I was
Depressing.
when I was in Florida, and so I had a work thing. I had to go. I was in a
perfect.
hotel, and I didn't have my normal channels or anything, so I'm just like I'm flipping through whatever, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm getting.
You're like
ready.
Shark Tank, nah, seen it.
Yeah.
Let's see, Saving Private Ryan. Sorry, AMC, not interested.
So I'm literally watching this one, and it's this guy whose wife is giving birth, and he's like, "Yeah, honey, look, I'm real excited to meet the new one, but I gotta go out there. I gotta go out there and make a fortune for the family." And it's just like cutting back and forth between the birth and him just out there, like in a little
It's
stream.
like The
kind of
Godfather,
thing.
where they cut between the baptism and the murder. It's just like what a cut. What a buildup
And,
of drama. Did they have a midwife
and he-
there, or he just left his wife there to fend for herself?
I don't remember. I was brushing my teeth or whatever, but I'm just kind of enjoying the drama. But then he comes
quite a
back
lot.
at the end of the episode and holds the baby, and he's like, "I'm so happy to meet you," and then like he goes back to work. So
He's like,
Crying
honey,
gold.
he's like, honey, I missed the birth of our first beautiful baby boy child. We'll name him Jesus. He's beautiful. But I did dig up at least 37 cents worth of gold dust in the past 7 hours. But it's okay. Next month, I'm hoping to string it big. It's like so much investment of time for like so little payoff.
yeah, well,
Same
and
thing with having kids.
yeah,
That's
kind
a
of the same
great
thing.
point.
Yeah, you're hoping you get the little speck of gold, but you might just get a rock.
You
This is
might just
worth
get a lump of
37
gold.
cents.
It's my 37 cent son. Jimbus. Bingus
Shitty
Junior.
return.
Well, on that note, Will, you sent over a bunch of videos and stories about slides, I guess, and I don't really know what they are. So we got a YouTube video, and it looks like an AP article about slides. Let's jump. Which one of those is the primer, and which one is the one that goes second?
Let's go AP News first for the official story and the official press release.
Yeah,
and we can
I didn't
watch the
realize
video
there's-
to corroborate.
I guess I didn't know there was a lot of breaking news about slides these days, Will.
It's a big deal. Slides are coming back in a humongous way. I don't know about any of you guys, but downtown slides are a must in any American city. Don't ask me why. You can get on a slide that's 15 stories high in Orlando, and they just sort of strap you to a sheet of wax paper and send you on your way. So it ranges from the extreme to sort of the wacky. So anyways, this is a little sample of the slides in Detroit. I think they opened recently, and let me know if you guys would want to go on this slide.
I'm down.
We do a
I
live
call it
from the Detroit Giant Slide.
says it only
All right.
opens to the
So-
brave and curious.
Yes, reopens to it hurt, and we got this beautiful picture here. A person who's just going so fast, they're off the ground. They got some air.
Hanging 10.
Here,
It
Will-
looks like an escalator.
Giant slide in Detroit reopened Friday to people.
Yeah. I don't know why they made it sort of look like a potato peeler, Sort of looks uncomfortable, like a very grating effect that would have.
Some
on a
people
body.
might love that.
Well, I guess the brave and curious might Is that video playing or?
No, I thought
Is
we were
Tom
supposed
frozen?
to silently read it.
Oh, is Tom frozen? I can't tell. Tom?
Tom? Oh my
Tom, wake
God,
up.
we lost him.
Oh no. This is another gypsy hex that has been placed upon us where Tom freezes in time. Now he's frozen. Like Han Solo. He's just frozen into a chunk of fucking ice. We'll just
Like
hopefully
Walt
we get him
Disney?
back, you know. Wait, what? What'd you say?
Like Walt Disney?
Oh wait, Walt Disney. Oh yeah, like Disney. Yeah, he's just frozen. Maybe someday to come back. Perhaps,
But
perhaps Tom
probably
is.
not.
Perhaps Tom is cryogenically frozen all of a sudden.
Well, I'm
Maybe
about to cry.
maybe the video ate up some bandwidth or something. Man,
Oh, I
this
bet
is-
it did.
Yeah. It's not even I seen the video. It's like a Today Show clip that's like a minute. I don't know. You know, it's like Today Show. So it's
Does it
we
show
weren't
people
even gonna
actually
watch.
sliding?
Yeah, it just shows them like catching a bunch of air, and this just like it looks like it would be fun to go on that slide, but then you see the videos of people going down it, and man, it looks like they're just bouncing down on this metal thing, and it's like, ooh. You know, I think I'll
Shreds of
save my
skin.
back. Yeah, shreds of skin. You know, they've just been peeled like a carrot. You know,
Mm.
they've been peeled on this slide like a fine carrot in a decadent borscht.
Some states love that.
It's true.
I think I'm back.
Welcome back, Tom.
Can you hear me? Am I
I
here?
thought you were frozen in time like Disney.
It
Welcome back.
froze up. I was over there reading this whole article, and then I realized that I was no longer in the stream.
We actually had a moment of silence where we were just sort of reading it ourselves, and because I haven't read that full article, I just sort of found what it was and sent it over. And,
Yeah.
and then Courtney was like, "Oh, I thought we were just supposed to read it." I was like, "Oh, damn! I thought I thought so too." But, a moment,
All of the
5 minutes of
podcasters.
silence. 5 minutes of
I'm gonna
silence.
try
to
to
read the
share
article,
this again.
please. Okay. You're already freezing and breaking up a little bit, so
Oh, the screen share is not going to work. That'd be a real problem. Can you
curse
Can you hear
you, curse you, Bill Gates, for your. What do you have, Microsoft? Tom,
kill
You gotta-
that help?
oh no,
I do. Yeah.
you have a
Yeah,
Microsoft. Yeah, what an odd coincidence.
All right. All right. How about now? Any better? Did that get better?
yeah, all the freezing went away. I don't know why. The video is like
So I guess
only a minute long, and then like it's a Today Show clip, so we would have watched maybe 20 seconds of that shit. And
well, I was just trying to share the AP article. Maybe I can read that at least, and we'll maybe the AP thing is. All right. So, Will, you may explain all this. I missed it, frankly. So I'm going to jump in. Here. A giant slide in Detroit reopened Friday. Oh, did you already do this? Will, did I?
No, we did a little bit of it, but basically we just kind of encapsulated a little bit that essentially the slide is like a fucking giant potato peeler because it's kind of like grating on the skin. And also you fly so high when you hang 10 on some of those curves that you basically shatter several different vertebrae at the same time on the way down. So it's very bad for your back. In
The
addition
new
to
term of shred the gnar.
exactly.
That's potato peeler thing is disturbing to me. I'm not going to lie. I don't like thinking about that. Because it definitely sounds like. No, I haven't, Courtney.
Well, then they would need to use a potato peeler, and it'd feel good, Tom. You should try it.
Yeah, Tom, you should do micro needling. It feels amazing. I've heard.
So
Tom, get acupuncture in your eyeballs. One.
Just get some acupuncture, basic acupuncture. I'll set you up with Dr. Chung, and you guys can have a quick session. I'm a doctor as well, so I have a whole network of acupuncturists that I work with. And they'll hook you up. Get you
Jennifer.
all straightened out.
Yeah. Okay.
My boy.
So, all right. Maybe we do an episode where we're all doing acupuncture. We do an episode where we're all losing a pound due to the
I
potato
like that.
peeler of the slide. We'll do some
The
adventure.
pound of flesh. The pound of flesh
Yes.
you give to the Detroit slides.
My new aging of the Merchant of Venice does take place at the Detroit slides. I think it's going to be a real fun experience. Shylock in the air.
They recast Shylock in a new, fresh way that's very, very interesting and very woke. It's phenomenal, and everyone should go see it. It's not like the most recent Merchant of Venice, where they.
Yes, we're calling him Slide Lock to try to just work the merchandise into the characters.
Try and work the merchandise in. Try and make it friendly for the whole family. 'Cause, the pound of flesh image is frightening. So we're trying to make this funny for children by handing out plushies of Shylock and all the other characters. Portia, of course, the chests of gold.
My producer, in fact, has been telling me that maybe the play doesn't track as well when people are totally willing to give up a pound of flesh every time they go down a slide. That's just a price they're willing to pay. Drama doesn't quite land.
Surprisingly, also, the producers are saying something about this not being a very family-friendly story to begin with, and that we've had to adapt it already 7 or 8 times. So we're basically rewriting the entire Shakespeare story. There's barely a hair gram left of original content.
True. It's an experience, and maybe it's not a pleasant one.
Disney, Disney is very fun to work with, but we have shaved the original story down so much that it just makes you wonder, would you even be able to do Pygmalion or any of the other fun stories that are sort of not quite as family friendly as you'd think.
Disney's Pygmalion is my next up, and you read my mind.
Disney's Pygmalion, starring the ghost of Rex Harrison in CGI holographic form. We brought back Princess Leia. We can bring back Rex Harrison. God damn it! It's not that hard.
George Lucas.
We'll have Seth MacFarlane do all the sort of movements with the costume that has the funny little balls on it, and it's sort of green. And then
the Andy Serkis monkey suit, we call that.
Yes, the Andy Serkis suit, as it's referred to in the industry, because of the prevalence of Andy wearing it.
The only man who can do monkey noises, apparently, in Hollywood.
The man you go to directly from monkey noises, Andy Serkis.
Yeah, the man who people were saying needed an Oscar nomination for walking on his fist and doing noises in Planet of the Apes film.
Tom, you're up there.
Andy Serkis.
You want money on my fists?
Who cares? I'll do a little My Precious thing for a fucking $20 million paycheck.
Look,
it's not that hard.
I'll give him.
I'd do it for $20.
Yeah, there we go.
You gotta get a better agent or negotiator. It's a lot of time you're putting in there. That's worth something.
Well, Mr. Bezos shelled out. I think they said it's like twice as expensive as the most expensive season of television for this new Lord of the Rings show. So I'm sure.
Ooh.
And in that thing, I have 6 or 7, right?
Yeah. Hopefully, the resurrection of the beloved franchise doesn't go cripplingly terrible, and they're able to sort of have some sort of success with it. I actually read an article, and they said that the entire attitude amongst the cast is that the show will either bomb tremendously or it'll be phenomenal. So they're like, this will either be the last gigs. Yeah, those are our only options. This will either be terribly received or it'll be incredibly well awarded, and we'll probably win an Oscar just because it's J.R.R. Tolkien, baby.
It's kind of funny because the Bezos was like, we need our own Game of Thrones, all right? So I don't care how much it costs. Put down like $1 billion to get the rights to this thing, but Warner Brothers still has the rights to the Lord of the Rings trilogy, Hobbit trilogy. So they have this whole thing now at Amazon that can't actually use anything from the movies that they're trying to pretend like, oh yeah, it's a prequel to these movies more than it's it's a J.R.R. Tolkien adaptation. So they have to walk this fine line. And they had like there was this article I was reading where like the lawyers were telling the writers, you can't even Michael Jackson to be part of this because then it will seem too much like it's something that Warner Brothers owns. So they're stuck, and I love it because it's like, oh my god, this is so much more headache. Because like Bezos is just like, yeah, it's a big fantasy thing. Lord of the Rings, let's buy it. Okay, and he thinks they bought it, but it's like, well, no, yeah, but it's now you have to like both recreate it, and it can't be the same thing. And people think it's like part of the Peter Jackson universe. And the lawyers are just like, oh my god, no, that elf looks too similar to Peter Jackson's elf. You better put a different nose on him or something.
You gotta get rid of the pointy ears with those elves. They said it was a Warner Brothers elf IP, so no more pointy ear
hobbits.
Elves. They're gonna be pointy nosed now. That's how it goes.
I'll be hairier, or else we're screwed in court. But yeah, I was never a huge Lord of the Rings guy. Were you guys into those?
No.
Are you asking if I was a nerd? No.
I'll tell you this much, Will. I've had a big shift in character. It may surprise you to know that I was not like a big sports hero in town. I was not like the Rudy of Omaha or anything. But I have recently watched the Winning Time show, the Lakers show, and I've decided I'm just going to make it a normal thing now. I'm just going to make Lakers references all the time now. Basically, it's the same thing as liking sports. If I'm dropping Dr. J references, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, my reference point is about 1.5 years. That's about what the season covered. But it's really an evolutionary change for me.
Just gonna be making Kobe references for the next 10
years.
Years.
Please don't spoil it. Don't spoil it, Will.
Are you going to be a jersey guy too? Are you going to rep their jerseys?
Yeah, I'm going to wear a Kareem jersey that goes down to my ankles.
Absolutely.
Go to bed every night as sort of like a night pajama.
Just out. I'm going to wear it out,
to restaurants and the cinema and such.
To the cinema, yes. I'm going to go to the cinema.
To the cinema.
Kareem. Yeah. My Kareem jersey.
Are you going to try to go to any games?
Well, no, because I don't want to know what happens after season 1, because season 2 hasn't come out yet.
Okay.
So
so you just want to live in that world of the Lakers. You don't want to actually join the sports.
Well, if the show gets that far, then look, I'm open to it. But really, I want to keep my reference point where the show is, because optimal enjoyment would be optimal suspense. I don't need to know a single thing that happened beyond this. So don't even mention Shaq, please.
Well, let me spoil one thing for you at least. I haven't seen the show. I haven't seen the show, but Kobe Bryant is no longer with us, so he has rested.
Why did you spoil the 37 finale, Will?
Because there's still an ongoing narrative. It goes on, and it'll always keep changing and evolving, and that's the beauty of sports, is it's just forever. If you want,
think there's people out there who watch like The Crown and are like, please don't spoil anything about the royal family to me. I don't want to know anything about what happened in season 3.
Don't tell me what happens to Prince Andrew in season 104. Don't tell me what happens to Prince Harry in season 102.
I don't know who Princess Diana is.
Find out.
I don't know until the show gets there.
I have no idea if she's still alive or not. We'll see on the show. Can you imagine being an American and you're like literally have no idea? And you're like, I have no idea if this lady's dead or not, but I don't really care. I'm gonna watch the show before I find out. Google it.
You wouldn't assume she dies, right? If she's just a character basically in this fantasy show that you like to watch, you have no idea. I'm gonna set up my Google to my safe results now, block out anything regarding the royal family because it's not on the show yet.
Verbatim.
But it will be. You're like, I have no idea if India and Pakistan ever got independence, if Bangladesh is a thing. I have no idea. I'm still living in 1950 in my head, and there's nothing that I want to know. I don't want any spoilers. I don't want to get to the part where Gandhi is a thing, and that's the part of the show too. And then India wins their independence, and then Pakistan and India have to switch all their people. And like 20 million people die, and then the Queen is basically responsible for a genocide, more or less. So I don't want to know any of that.
Yeah. No, and in their mind, it's just like, I want to know who has sex in the next season. That's all I'm in here for.
I just want to see who the Queen's banging back in 1953.
I've never watched The Crown, but I assume that's basically why people watched it.
That's got to be it.
That's why I watched it.
That's why people watch Downton Abbey.
Are you a Crown fan?
For those same two reasons. I wouldn't say fan per se.
Yeah.
But I watched a couple seasons.
Does she have sex?
It seems kind of fun. The energy,
She does have sex, and Diana marries into the family.
Oh, spoilers. We haven't been alive for much of.
Wow.
Spoilers.
That's basically as far as I got. So you should watch it.
All right. We won't say anything else. We will leave it there.
Don't tell me
no, I don't.
If just okay. Do me one favor. Just don't tell me if China and Taiwan ever unify. Okay, because I don't want to know. I have no idea. I'm living in 1955. I'm not saying that you would do this, Courtney, but I'm just saying that this character of like somebody who watches The Crown, who would love it for sure. Because I mean, I would probably love it if I watched Downton Abbey. But like, if you watch the show, and you really love it, but you have no idea, you've never Googled like geopolitics, and you just have like an American geography.
I Google geopolitics all the
12th grade. I have to Google everything, man. They never told you a darn thing in school, did they? You know what I mean? Not to pull a Jordan Peterson, but they never teach you a damn thing in schools these days. Don't teach you a damn thing.
So Will, I want to transition here because you sent me a video, which apparently I won't be able to get to play, but I can describe it, which is Prince Philip walking down the street holding like a banana, and I don't know, he's barefoot holding a banana like it's a phone, kind of like I watched it. It's 14 seconds long, and it's literally just this. He just kind of looks like a character. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know what I'm watching. I don't know why I'm watching it. I don't know what he's up to. Can you give me a little?
They're just like us.
Just speaking of the royal family, it was just sort of a funny video of I guess Prince William. He was caught out in the wild, sort of like on the town.
Oh, it's William. Sorry.
And
which one's?
I don't know.
He's Epstein's friend.
Isn't that Andrew, or is that
Andrew.
Or is that Peter, or is that Johnson?
It's so hard to keep these.
Is that Prince Johnson? Prince Baron, young Prince Baron.
I don't know how you guys keep track of all these royal family people, because I don't watch the shows. And look, I know Diana, I know Elizabeth, I know I've heard of Victoria. That's about it, though. That's about my cultural
Victoria. I know, Elizabeth first.
I don't know where you guys are like taking all these lessons on the royal family. How do you know who they are?
I'm just looking on what to wear and how to cross my legs. I was taking some pointers on being a lady.
And that's how you learn who Prince Philip was.
Yes. All because I wanted to be a lady.
He said very ladylike.
Fair answer.
I admire it. That's all.
Well, for me,
there's a saying. Yes.
Oh, go ahead. What? Sorry, what is the saying?
There's a saying about confidence where it's like you should walk as if there are 3 men walking behind you, which we could probably break that down a little later on if we really wanted to. But I like to sit down with my legs crossed as if Prince, who did we say, was right in front of me.
Prince
I almost
Pervert,
said,
I believe.
Yes.
Purvis.
Prince
Oh, dear.
Prince
Prince
Purvis.
Purvis. He's the naughtiest one, Prince Purvis. The first one to be Me Too'd, and nobody was surprised. I'll tell you,
Anyways,
for me,
continue. Will.
for me personally, I would say, I'm not necessarily pro-monarchy. I believe they're a leech on the
Bombshell.
taxpayers of
That's
Great
going to be the
Britain.
title of
I
this
believe-
episode. Will destroys the monarchy. The Ben Shapiro type title.
That's pretty clickbaity. Yeah, that actually might launch us to the top of the charts for the week. But yeah, basically, I'm not pro-monarchy or anything. I just think that it's interesting, and if the monarchy did crumble, who would be the first to upend it, and sort of how would it fall in sort of a revolutionary sense? You know what I mean?
Mr.
There's
Bean.
sort of like right. If like
King
Mr.
Bean.
Bean led a revolution, King Bean.
Oh,
That's what I'm
Prince
wanting.
Bean.
That's exactly what I'm wanting. I'm wanting a second English revolution where Mr. Bean inhabits sort of Oliver Cromwell role. He sort of guides the country as sort of a god emperor who refuses
God.
to be king, but is so beloved by everyone that he basically is king de facto.
Remember that Bean movie? They ask what his job is at the museum, and he's like, "Sit and I look at the paintings." That'd be a good goal for a king, right? Just kind of sits,
Basically
looks
what they
around.
did, right? They just sort of sat there, the chicken leg in their hand, sort of eating it, maybe a bottle of like champagne in
pouring-
the other.
Yeah, someone's pouring wine from 2 feet above their head.
Chicken
right?
leg in the
Someone's-
first 2 fingers and a cigar in the third.
Yeah, somebody's feeding him grapes, and then he's got like some like really dirty, bloody, war-torn soldier in front of him, and he's like, "So tell me again what happened." And he's sort of staring at this painting, and he's just sort of like, "Oh, god damn it!" And in that way, he's probably exactly like Mr. Bean, sort of staring at a painting, sort of thinking like, "Oh, god damn it, I have to do laundry later."
I like this idea that of all the princes right now, right? They got like Prince Andrew, Prince William, Prince whatever. You got Prince Purvis, the naughty one, and Prince Bean, the goofy one.
Prince Purvis the naughty, the moniker sort of attached.
Queen
Queen Elizabeth the aged. She'll live forever.
Weirdly, we
If they
started
don't.
calling her that when she was 25.
Yeah.
Story.
After they started preserving her each year with more and more formaldehyde, sort of pumping it into her system and feeding it to her slowly to keep her alive.
We should have
As the
asked
queen. We
should
need
ask
the
Matt about
queen to last forever.
Look, I know that. Like, again, I don't keep up on this stuff really, but it does seem like every couple of weeks there's some headline where they're like, the queen's fine. You just can't talk to her. Nobody can see her, but she's very alive. And it seems fit.
Is she wrapped up in bandages to look as though the mummy? No.
Yeah.
She's fine. She's perfectly okay. And she's not in a full body cast in her bed. She'll be out in a month.
Yeah.
Did she fall from a second-story building somehow because Princes Philip, Andrew, and Purvis were arguing and shoving each other, and perchance one of them elbowed her holiness through the window and out onto the lawn? God forbid, no. That is not what happened. And neither is she in a bed in a full-body cast. She will be out in 6 months. Thank you very much. No further questions.
Yeah, this is their press conference when nobody asked anyway. They just come out.
Yeah.
We gotta get ahead of this thing, right?
Yeah, we need to get ahead of this immediately. And then some announcer or some press corps person that's there just about to ask a question. It was like turns to another, and he's like, "Hey, I mean, I wasn't even gonna ask. I don't know why they're telling us this. Like, it seems like, is the queen dead? Should we write that instead? Should we write that the queen has passed?
Yeah, well,
That's a better headline."
I think I told you guys. I was watching The Naked Gun for the first time in a while. I was watching it 2 or 3 months ago, and the queen is in that, and she's old in that. And the joke is that she's really old in that. And that was like 1987. So I don't know if anyone anticipated that she'd still be a thing at this point.
That was like 36 years ago, right? Something like that. That's insane. Almost 40 years ago. Jeepers, creepers. Maybe they are putting something in their food. I have heard that since they get the best healthcare and probably the best food in the world because they're wealthy is beyond belief, that would probably extend your life. I mean, that makes sense. All those people that live in like pristine areas of Japan and stuff that live to be like 117 just because they ate their own vegetables that were fresh and organic and they caught their own fish.
Good for them that they got time to do all that. Sorry, I'm bitter at these people.
You're bitter at those people that home farm, or what is it called? Sustainable farming, or off the grid. I'm
bitter that
you compost, right? You compost in a big pile.
I do compost. Yep.
There you go. There you go.
The compost, all rotting. If that's what it takes, I don't know. I don't know if I have it in me.
Actually, that would be the unappeal. That would be the unappeal of the compost for me. It's just because it smells. It doesn't smell that bad, right?
No, if you turn it enough, then it's like doing its thing. If you never move it, then stuff will just sort of rot. But let's move on to something. Another person who's been humbled by nature, which sent you guys a thumbnail of this, and I probably won't be able to get the audio. I can get the audio to play. I'll be able to get the video to play. But Mr. Louis C.K., the recently self-canceled Louis C.K., who just had a movie that came out called what was it, like Labor Day or something, Memorial Day. You remember that, Will? What was that movie called?
Flag Day.
Remember we watched
Earth Day. Yeah, I remember. It was about the troubled man who goes to his whiny New England family. Or were they Long Islanders? I don't know. Or were they from Jersey? Anyway. They were from New Jersey or something really aggressive. Yeah. And they were very bad influence.
Louis on the press tour for this movie with
great
little nebbish Woody Allen man. And they made sure to stop by. Yeah, they made sure to stop by Joe Rogan's the compound. Good. And they talked, and I don't watch this guy's show, but I happened to see like a recommended video, and it's a clip from it. And the clip is called Being Humbled by Nature and Ancient Civilizations. And it's Joe Rogan talking to Louis C.K. and the little nebbish man. So I'm going to play a little bit of this, and we'll see where they ended up.
All right.
Good. But man, living up there was fucking magical. It was like everything just went.
Well, human animals are part of the earth.
Yeah,
it's their home, and cities are not natural.
Right.
You don't. You're. It's man-made lighting. And as soon as it gets dark, it's man-made lighting everywhere, and you have to turn off lights in darkness. You don't have this natural.
I wish you could see, but he's got this like gleeful. Like he's imparting wisdom from just like, I mean, look, he's talking to Joe Rogan, so maybe he is imparting some kind of brilliance onto his audience here, but there's this glee in Louis C.K.'s eyes as he talks about this profound thought that he's having.
Listen, I took mushrooms and I went camping last year, and holy shit, it just opened my eyes to the fact that we are supposed to live on the earth outdoors.
Yeah. Lights, they're not natural. We build them.
The sun, it's not natural. Caves are our natural environment. We are meant to live as cave beasts in the back of caves, fending off bears for sustenance.
That'd be so fun.
Not farming outdoors in the sun.
The real sun is in the hollow earth, Joe.
Hollow earth. Deep earth, Joe. Deep earth. That's what I'm talking about.
Of like, there's certain parts of the day where the breeze comes. Like if you live on a coast, there's a sea breeze, and then there's the day, and there's and and you watching the grass go green and then gray. You're watching the trees die. It's part of tells you your brain how life works. I think it makes you less afraid of dying to watch everything die.
I will. Also I wish you could see again on the left-hand part of the frame. The frame is on Louis C.K. There is a lot of smoke coming from Joe Rogan, which helps, I think what's happening here too.
He's trying to make it make sense.
Yeah.
perhaps explains Joe Rogan's fascination with just sort of what Louis is saying.
Or
Yes, exactly.
desperation to finish the interview.
I don't know if Joe Rogan's ever been desperate to finish an interview. Do you see how long these things are? If anything, he's desperate to keep them there.
Probably just finishes when he gets hungry. It's like, all right, that's been a 5.5 hour podcast. I ate 6 hours ago. I'm a little peckish. I'm gonna fucking wrap this up.
Can I ask a question about these Joe Rogan fans? How do they have 5 hours to listen to this guy talk every day?
Because it's a lifestyle, Tom.
Yeah, it's a commitment and a way of life, like going to the gym. Okay.
Even shows I like to do one episode a week when they're over 2 hours. I don't always because I don't know. I got other things to do. The people, what they got what they're going to play it the second they get home from work till they go to bed.
You know, you sort of
start it on the way home from work or right out before you leave the office door, so people know that you're listening.
Yeah,
and you just don't ever shut it off.
And then if somebody approaches you about it, you just sort of casually brush it off by saying like, "Oh yeah, forgot to connect to Bluetooth, man. Sorry."
Oh, what, you want me to turn it up?
Diffused. Oh, you like Joe Rogan?
What you're saying? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll turn it on.
Have you ever heard of other dimensions, man?
That's basically what I'm saying. All right. Let's get it back to Louis.
Okay, back to the cave theory. Plato's cave with Louis C.K.
What speed you're actually supposed to be running at? Because the city life and also the online life and the phone life is overworking everybody's brains and their systems. People are texting right before bedtime and it's just but being out there in nature where it's like, no, it's getting dark. It's getting dark. There's no sense of getting dark in the city. It's watching the world go to sleep and then sounds here and the birds go to bed.
You think he knows, like, is he going somewhere with this in is he trying to get to a point or is he just saying things?
This is his public apology for being a pervert. He's just kind of beating around the bush.
It's going really badly. It's going quite poorly.
I got really disconnected from my lizard brain because you can't tell when it's getting it really messed with my cycles. My speed.
Let me tell you something.
I can tell the speed I'm supposed to be going at because I can't see the natural speed of the planet rotating.
Let me tell you something. You're supposed to be able to sit in your apartment in total darkness in the city and understand that darkness is darkness. But I don't sit in the apartment in darkness. I turn on my lamp. I turn on my phone. I do all these terrible things that are so bad for me. When in reality, I should just be living out in a tent in the middle of the woods with a shotgun and a cast iron frying pan and a small bag of charcoal briquettes. And I'll just be hunting my own food using snares and just sort of the way God intended.
You look at Louis and you know that's not his lifestyle.
Yeah. You imagine that guy foraging for berries or trying to he'd probably eat a poisonous mushroom because he's like, oh fuck, I'm so hungry. What is this?
I hope this just kills me. This is too hard.
This is terrible.
He's trying to eat some wrong mushrooms after 2 days.
Starving to death is the worst fate. Let me tell you. I didn't eat for
2 pounds.
This is one time I didn't eat for a whole 48 hours, and it almost killed me. It's like, Louis, you came home and had a giant pasta meal and went to bed. I know, but before that, I was gonna die.
He's close enough to a national park or forest where it's
yeah, it's in Yellowstone on one of the trails.
He steals the food. He's like Bigfoot or something. Like when they go off to look at a majestic elk or something, he just sneaks up, grabs their sandwich, and runs back into the woods.
That says don't feed the bears, but I'm a human. I'm not a piece of shit animal. Don't disown me, society.
He's a human animal.
He is.
Yellowstone has these signs up with these cartoon Louis C.K.'s, and it's like, do not feed this man.
Do not feed this ragged man. He's been rejected from society.
This man in the eyes.
Do not feed or look in the eyes of the canceled man.
Yeah, I've heard that's exactly what I was It's like there's a campfire story, and they're like, "Have you heard the story of the canceled comedian who lives in the woods in Yellowstone?"
And all the little kids are like, "No, what's the story?" And then you're like, "Well, let me tell you, a long time ago, back in 2018, there was a comedian called Louis C.K. It was at the height of his
They scream when the name comes out in anticipation.
Louis.
Oh!
And then eventually you tell them, like, listen, he was a real creep, kids. And the thing is, you don't want to be a creep when you get older. You know, you want to steer away from that as much as possible. Because
Turns out this isn't fun
other
monster
people.
story. It's just kind of a sad one.
It's a fable. Maybe not as good as Aesop's fables, but it's a fable nonetheless. And it's a goddamn
Tell us the
beautiful one.
story, Captain. Tell us the story of the sad canceled comedian with the moral at the end.
Pipe down, young ones. Yes.
What he
so the
did
comedian-
discover was
What he-
revealed on a man's podcast. We are supposed to live in the dark.
Yeah, let's see if he gets to a point here.
Bed and then insects come out. All those things are reminding you how your system actually, what's going on in your chemistry is connected to all that.
Yeah, there's also a thing about going into the
Your
woods
chemistry.
and being around nature where it's like a nourishment that your body's not normally getting. It's like you feel like you're getting like a little something. Oh yeah, I need this. Like there's something in this that like your body is supposed to interface with.
Yeah, it's good for your physical health. There's all these.
That's Woody Allen, man, the Nibbish man. I'm gonna call him.
Oh, small.
Yeah.
Small nebbish one.
Yes.
Mental health.
Well, if people don't see the sun for a certain amount of time, it's insane. So if you think about the original people, they saw that 6 sky of stars, like that really full sky of stars for every human being to see that.
Did he say that 6 sky of stars? Is that what I heard?
I don't know.
That's what I heard.
Unintelligible for me.
He doesn't seem like the kind of guy
Right.
who uses sick. Like, oh yeah, it was that sky looks really sick today.
The sky looks so sick, man. It's like, are you okay, Louis?
I think you know the answer.
I took. Let me tell you something. I took last year when I went camping. I took 6 handfuls of magic mushrooms, and it blew my brain up. And now I can only talk in dumb little sentences, and I can never
These are not little.
apologize for anything.
This sentence, I think, has been going on for like 45 clauses at this point.
There's a lot of commas. He speaks on a very long run-on sentence. Sort of the whole 5-hour interview is just one long run-on sentence interrupted by Joe Rogan.
It's 5 hours of Louis Day talking about nature. Somehow that's what this turned into. Oh my god! All right, a little bit more. Let's go back.
Every night.
Yeah.
And a lot of people never see it. Never see one star. If you live in a city, you don't see the night sky.
Unless it's Los Angeles. See stars over there.
Yes.
Wah, wah, wah.
Well, their lives are-
Oh,
their friends-
To Hawaii once, went to the Keck Observatory. It's on the Big Island and it's way up there. You have to drive literally through the clouds. As we were driving, I was like, fuck, it's cloudy. This is going to suck. We're not going to see anything. And then you literally drive through the clouds, and the image that you get, because the Big Island uses all diffused lighting because of the Keck Observatory. So when you get up there, the view, where you're at 13,000 feet or something like that, the view of space is insane. You really feel
wait,
like
pause that. Pause
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
The view of space is insane.
That's
Joe
Sky
Rogan.
of Stars.
2022.
Stars. Yeah.
That sky of stars over there, the view
It's
from space
sick.
is insane.
So sick.
It's just funny, like
This thing, the Hubble telescope, it's really cool. Have you guys heard
It's
of this?
fucking dope.
It's like they're just basically talking about well-known things to each other, sort of
Yeah.
for 2 hours.
you ever
Like,
think
have
about
you
We
space?
have a rhythm that connects to the sun and the moon.
Did you see that movie Black Panther that came out? That was insane. That movie was insane. Did anyone see that? I feel like nobody saw that movie. It's like, dude, I feel
This
like
movie Gravity. It's got this really cool thing where they float, because on Earth we're sort of tethered to the core of the planet. So
But there
You
is
don't
in
just
space.
float.
In space, there is zero gravity. That's how little gravity there is. There's zero of it.
that's right. Yeah, yeah. Naturally, we fall to the earth. If I stop holding myself, I'll go down. I'll go down and I'll stay there. Just like
This
huge
guy, this
exhalation of smoke. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. There's this place where
totally.
yeah. Go up really high and then fall really far down. It's really amazing.
There's this guy Newton. He invented gravity basically, and he's insane. That guy is
Yeah.
insane. It's so sick. I feel like he did say sick at this point, probably, right?
All right.
The
let's
more we
continue.
talk
We're almost
about,
done.
the more it checks out.
Spaceship. You don't feel like you're on Earth anymore. You feel like you're in a ship with a glass ceiling and you're just passing through the Milky Way. I mean, it's fucking wonderful.
We're used to this perspective that you're standing on Earth, and that's
Yeah.
up, but you're really looking across at other people, and you're looking down at Earth that you're tacked down to. But in reality, you're hanging.
Yeah, I didn't watch this. I didn't know he literally was going to admire gravity, but I feel proud of myself for tracking.
It's a good
This
one.
guy Newton, he basically taught us that we're attached to the Earth, and that we're stuck here, hanging on to this big old ball, hurtling through the universe.
They're so close to just being like, yeah, Earth. It's not flat. It's real. It looks flat, but it's really not. It's round. It's round. Earth is a round thing.
That's the thing. That's the thing. When you go up in a plane, it looks flat still, kind of. But when you hear about pictures from space, it's round. So the Earth is definitely round, but it feels so flat because it's so big. It's insanely big. Man, it would be so easy to just like call a radio station and just do this for like 5 minutes and just be like, "Oh wow, Louis C.K. everybody." That's kind of dangerous,
Right.
actually. He's kind of getting to a level where it's like easy for any old idiot to do an impression.
I know. Yeah. We'll see how close we get to the end of it here.
Yeah.
And you're really hanging out into everything of the whole universe. It's not above your head. If you look like this, that's the really correct perspective.
Yeah.
Well,
that's why all these ancient cultures were obsessed with constellations, and we don't give a fuck about them.
That's why they built shit like that.
Yeah. And also built things that mimic.
Can you pause really quick? Sorry, just a really quick comment. I swear to God, and then I'll shut up. But this is like what is it? Is it Noah Baumbach who does those movies where people are having like a conversation, but they're saying two different things entirely?
Yeah,
like
two
they don't
people
even sound
talking to
like
each other.
they're. Yeah, they're talking over each other, and they're not even talking to each other. They're just saying things that are interrupted by other people. And I feel like that's exactly what this conversation is. It's just Joe Rogan wanting to talk about ancient civilizations, as always, and Louis C.K. wanting to talk about gravity and other fun, basic, very seemingly obvious
totally
things.
not being a pervert.
Yeah, I'll talk about anything, literally anything. Talk about gravity for 12 hours, but not any apology, anything.
Yeah. All right, here's this.
And the Egyptians, the way they formulated their structures, all like aligned with certain constellations, and it was very important.
Well, think about back when people were, before there was like skyscrapers, airplanes, that you can go up, you could only like 6 feet high.
Right.
You could maybe build something that was like, I don't know, like a castle.
Yeah.
That's kind of high, but those. I know I sound like an idiot.
It sounds like you guys fucking dropped Jay. I just got wacky in here. There was hills, there's mountains, right?
Yes.
Mountains are high.
Yeah,
but
Mountain-
So Woody Allen guy over there.
Speaking of
smoking a
high,
High, and you don't have like a drop really seeing.
Right.
And also, I unless you live in the mountains, then that became normal.
Right.
But the ability to go, let's go way the fuck up there and see from up there and feel like where is the sky start?
Yeah. It's also very humbling to people to be doing.
That's about all that.
where does
Anyway,
the
but-
sky start? Another great quote there from that.
enlightening conversation. Where does the sky start? I think
It
in
never
the
ends.
stratosphere, or is it the atmosphere?
you know-
I don't know which one. Start somewhere.
Louis C.K. feels like he's an authority to talk about ancient civilizations and their relationship to either like looking up high or being up above the ground. Like he has ever learned about this or done any research or like has any experience with it. Like Joe Rogan, I believe he's a guy who's hiked. You know, he's gone up to some places. I don't think Louis C.K. is doing that, right? What does he do with his day? Watches TV.
Lunch.
He's been watching a little
it's
too
funny,
much
though.
Ancient Aliens recently, maybe. I don't know. But he's
What if
gets-
Louis C.K. gets invited to the next Ancient Aliens season? Badly experts.
oh man,
Would you
I
watch
would love
it?
for that to happen. I might if
might.
it comes true. If
might have to
we
watch.
predict this, then I would be like, wow, I gotta watch that. That feels surreal, maybe.
They call that the Giorgio Tsoukalos guy with the hair. They call him, I think, astronaut theorist or something, which is total nonsense. Louis could be one of those if he decided to tomorrow.
Totally. He could write some dumb book with this, like 150 pages. It says all of his manifesto on it, and then do a press tour for that, and then he could be a so-called expert that they cut to.
Man, the
'cause
sky,
all it has
buddy.
to say is author, and then
Yeah.
it lends credibility. That's somehow.
My book is
No.
Man and the Sky. It's by me. I've got a doctorate in ancient astronaut theory now.
From
Giorgio
Purdue
Tsoukalos.
University Online Incorporated.
I have an honorary doctorate in ancient astronaut theory. Yeah, so my new book is Man in the Sky. Like he does a tour, and people, like the certain people are like, "Oh, I want to see the jokes. I want to see the new stuff." And he's like, "Tonight's going to be a little different." Clicks on a slideshow, and it's just like a big pyramid. We're going to
He's
talk
like-
about the sky.
And then he makes the same point before he shows the pyramids on the point, but he's like, let me tell you something. Before there were skyscrapers or planes or any of that shit, we could only see like 6 feet high. And then he clicks to like a picture of the pyramids, and he's like, nobody was going more than 3 stories high at all for any buildings or anything like that. And then he shows like a picture of like he shows like the Colossus of Rhodes, and he's like, nobody was building anything bigger than maybe 30 feet tall. It was all small stuff. He's like showing like the Hagia Sophia picture next. He's like, we could only build about 20 feet tall. It's just showing massive buildings, and it's like, buddy,
come
it's like
outside with me.
the Hanging Gardens of Babylon was only like 16 feet tall. It was tiny.
He invites the crowd to come out like the back emergency exit to go out like to the nearest field and just look up at the sky.
Everybody
this is
go
what it actually
outside.
looks
Everybody go outside and stare at the sun. And tell me what that feels like. That's the way we were supposed to be. We're not supposed to be
Oh my
indoors.
God.
We're supposed to be in
Just
caves.
the
When we're not,
idea that I'm
we're
like
supposed to be staring
flipping
at the
on
sun.
I'm like flipping on ancient aliens, and it's the normal people, and it's like, but what did this ancient cave drawing really mean? And it's a clip of Louis C.K. And the thing about the Anunnaki is just talking
were
about
people- They were a people that came down from the skies to the ancient ones and gave us the technology to build. Because, like I've said before, famously, before skyscrapers and planes and shit, we could only see like 6 feet tall, at most. And that was if you got on somebody's shoulders, because everyone was like 4 feet tall back then.
every episode you wonder if they just played the same 2-minute clip, the same interview from him. Because all he
I
does is make that
know.
one.
Yeah, he basically, I noticed it in that show, Ancient Aliens. They do sometimes play recurring clips, and it's like, wait a sec, I just saw that guy say the same exact thing. And sometimes I'll even go back just to make sure I'm not being gaslit by the show. And it's like, yeah, that's pretty much verbatim what he said earlier. I don't know if they're just
That's just-
reusing, peppering
It's
in
different takes.
recycled clips. It's different takes of the same thing. They're just using B-roll footage now because they're like, well, we don't have that much footage of him saying anything relevant or cogent. Just use the bloopers. It's fine. No one cares. No one watches this show
my
except
God.
in nursing homes and hospitals. And
Look, I'll tell you this though. You probably don't want to
Waiting
use the
rooms.
Louis C.K. bloopers because the stuff that he doesn't want to get in there might cancel him again.
Listen, let me tell you something. I'm Mexican and Hungarian, and those Eastern European people are so mean. And I can't stand these Mexicans coming and taking our jabs. It's like,
Can
Lou,
you imagine you're aliens and it just turns into like a Trump rant from Louis C.K. halfway through the episode.
like an alt-right sort of like tirade. He's just going on talking about like, we don't think, listen, I'm not saying there's Jewish space lasers, but if there are, then maybe Marjorie Green Taylor was right. It's like, wow, this is direct. Like, what are you? This is, and then you get to the end of Ancient Aliens and you see funded by the RNC. And then you're like,
That's the new thing.
They just pay. They'll just take anyone's money. That's a new thing. They just started buying shows. Start buying IP and then retroactively like resurrecting old shows.
Well, what Daily Wire, their media empire. Maybe Daily Wire just buys Ancient Aliens or buys the History Channel.
Yeah, they just buy it from Disney for like $1 billion.
Yeah.
And Disney's like, yeah, sure, we don't care. Take
it. Well,
you think
we're at
care?
an hour. I think we had this was the cursed show in many ways, including technical issues. We hope that they can solve figure out by next time. But we got it. We did the show. We're at an hour. I think we about covered it. How do you guys feel about it?
I think we did it for it being a cursed show. I'm super curious as to how the audio will turn out because it's been super crackly over here.
It has been
Hopefully.
a little crackly on my end.
Yeah.
Weird. That sounds pretty good on my end, and I am recording it separately, so I can switch the audio from my separate recording with the YouTube audio if we need to. So should be fine.
Perfect.
It should be fine. Yeah. Oh, I did want to say before the end of the show, just one last story. I was driving the other day. It was really quick, by the way. I was driving the other day, and I was listening to one of those radio stations that gets 2 different channels depending on where you are. You know, kind of goes like, and it cuts to another channel, and then it cuts back. You know, because it's sort of like bouncing between signals or whatever it's doing. And one channel was basically NPR giving like the news update, you know, for the hour. It's basically like, this is the BBC. Earlier today, Irani Revolutionary Corps rebels bombed a mosque, killing 100 million people, and only 10 were spared, 2 of which were children. And then it's like, oh my gosh, this is like horror. Like, they always do the worst news at the BBC. It's always like the tragedies of the globe, which are good to know as well. But it's like, it's very bleak news. You know, it's depressing. Like, you shouldn't listen to it with children in the car.
Either world tragedies or the Queen is still alive. We just want to make sure you're
The Queen is totally still alive. Just an update on the Queen. She's now cocooning for 6 months. She'll be fine.
She said she emerges.
She emerges as the monarch butterfly that she is. Praise be to God. Glory to the Queen. But yeah, so basically that. Amen. God save the Queen. Amen. It's like, oh my God, this is a little propaganda-ish. But yeah, anyway, so it's like this radio station's cutting between the BBC, right? Kind of like talking about these horrible, you know, like in Yemen earlier today, a famine has wiped out 1.5 billion people. They're estimating that because of the Ukraine war, another 200 million will die. It's just like, these numbers are insane as well. Like, they're always like, I don't know about you guys, but like when I listen to the news, it's never like 10 people. It's always like 150 people plus 1,000. And anyways, so there's like always a ton of collateral damage with BBC News. And so it's really depressing listening to that. And then it cuts out to another radio station that basically is doing like the American news on American NPR. I don't know how I was getting like 2 different newses at the same time, but I just was. And anyways, this American news was equally depressing. It was like the baby formula recall shortage has now been announced as fatal for 10,000 babies and counting. It's like, oh my God. And then, they're like, then they're saying like, just the most, they're like, climate change has burned down 1 million acres in California again, and has burned down another 600 trillion acres in Yellowstone Park directly. And the White House has caught fire as well. The climate is heating up just a tiny, teeny, weeny little bit because the sun is turning the planet into a giant magnifying glass. We're all going to roast. So it's just depressing climate news. And it's just like, it's so funny because I was basically just driving back from the grocery store, just trying to listen to the radio, and I was at a place where I couldn't necessarily turn the radio because I was like, trying to hold on to the wheel, because there's aggressive drivers down here in Florida. There's a lot of Florida man drivers. and so I couldn't change it. And I just had to listen to this for like 3 minutes, and it was just back and forth. It was, earlier today, the government of China has announced that their starvation policy has worked and another 6 billion people are dead. and then it's like, yeah, in other news, President Biden has signed a bill to tell everyone to go F themselves. That'll come out on Monday. And on Tuesday, it's anticipated to be shot down in the Senate. However, it will pass the House as anticipated. It's like, wow, this is a funny world we live in. Anyways, that's just a parting story of kindness and gentle light to give to you all, and a sweet good night.
Bedtime story before your sweet dreams. Well,
Sweet
thanks for that,
dreams,
Will.
little one, and dream of a hot planet and a bunch of death. Amen. God bless the Queen. It's like, wow, such beautiful news.
The Queen is still resilient. The Queen is still strong.
The Queen has a dark energy that will prevail throughout for the rest of her life, for all of your life, and for the lives of another 20 billion people. She has lived throughout the lifetimes of 700 billion people, and she will live past another 100 billion as anticipated. She somehow sucks the energy out of the life of the planet.
Yeah. Every million acres that burn and every million lives that go, she gained the 2 years here on this planet Earth.
For every flood in Pakistan, the Queen gains another month. Praise be. I'm just kidding. Sorry. This is terrible.
This is sacrifice. The world keep up here.
The world is just a blood sacrifice to keep the Queen alive. That's quite a conspiracy theory. Maybe we should go on the Joe Rogan show with that. It might actually pique his interest.
All right.
Who knows?
Well, that's a good, beautiful nursery rhyme for the listeners.
A
So
sweet
thanks,
little
everybody.
Grimm's tale. Just a Grimm's Brothers tale for you all. Fun little romp.
Go to bed.
All right. Good night to everyone.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. We'll be back.
That's us.